Okay, I'm going to show you the exact method I use to generate. My best I've done with this is about 7 appointments in an hour. But on average, if you work this pretty consistently, if you're one person, you could expect about an appointment to 2 appointments per hour, depending on your niche and where you're calling and to where you're from and to where you're calling. That's of course all going to swing, but this puts 10 to 20 appointments on my calendar pretty much every week. And like I said, the best I've done with it before is actually 7 in an hour. And I've gotten pretty close to repeating that a number of times, 5 in an hour, 6 in an hour, sort of stuff like that. And they're generally pretty high qualified depending on what list you're calling and where you're getting your list. So the actual script itself, I'm going to break down into these three key parts. You've got the first part, the second part, and the third part. This is the initial conversation or the initial pitch. And like I said, this is really in my other video, this is just this script right here is what's going to generate you 70% of the appointments that you do generate. Another 30 to 40% of them, you'll have to go into more objection handling and other stuff like that. But if you deliver this right, you lay this off smooth, it'll generate you the bulk of your appointments. So depending on what niche you're in, right? And this is, I want to touch on this real quick here too as well. If you're in a niche where you know cold calling doesn't work because you're dealing with a lot of gatekeepers, maybe dentists, chiros, stuff like that, where you're just calling and getting assistance all the time, this probably won't work for you. But that's only because you're not going to be able to access them. I don't know if you could do this over SMS or if you could do it as a cold DM type situation, but for us, the industry we're in, we're able to call it and get owners directly. So it works really well for us. So what we do, most of the time they answer the phone, they tell us who they are. So we don't really need this line here, but we drop into one here, right? We introduce ourselves, who we are, and the company that we're with. So right away they know that it's a pitch and we know that we're a business. We tell them we've never spoken to them before, right? So by doing that, we sort of make them see us as a human a little bit after we've just introduced ourselves as somebody from a company. So they're immediately going to think, oh, this is a sales pitch. And then we humanize ourselves a little bit. I'll be honest that we've never spoken before. Can I give you the reason for my call? This is setting up the easiest yes, right? You're basically setting the conversation up so that they're giving you an initial yes, and that you're only proceeding with permission, basically. And so you're earning a little bit of goodwill just right off the bat. Very rarely, by the way, will you get no here. It happens, but it's pretty rare. And usually it's not a no, it's just a click. They'll just hang up on you. So dropping down into 2, this would be the development of this funnel, the next step, right? So we say where we're at. Now, for my business, we call in our own state the majority of the time. We do go out to other states. But let's say we're calling somebody that's really local, we say the city. If we're calling somebody that's on the other side of the state, we say the metro area. If we're calling somebody that's on the other side of the country, we'll just tell them at the state, right? We're not going to sit there and bother them with the address that we're at or anything like that. We're just calling and telling them where we're at so that they know that we're local. And I have cold callers that work with me right now, and they say the state that we're into because they're affiliated with our business. We tell them a brief summary of what our offer is, right? So we work with whatever your niche is. Now, I'm going to make another video about your niche, but I definitely believe you should be niche specific. You shouldn't service 5 different industries. And we can guarantee estimates on your calendar. You wouldn't have to pay us. So right off the bat, that sounds interesting. There's not too many, at least in our industry, that are going to hear that and just be turned off by it. The only reason they will is because they've been bombarded with this type of calls before. And this is kind of why I changed this script a little bit so that it is the way you're seeing it now, because you have to do something a little bit alternative. And then we ask yet again, can I give you the 20-30 second scoop on how that would work? So this is giving them 1, an easy out, and 2, it's like really asking for permission to continue through with your sales pitch, which again continues to build on goodwill, but also adds a little bit of buy-in from them because they're intentionally and willingly allowing you to go on with what you're saying. So it goes a long way. The third step in the funnel is actually, is this full description, right? So this is not very detailed, but it's very specific. We first cross out basically that we're like, there's a lot of lead aggregators that sell multiple leads in the industry that we sell leads to multiple businesses in the industry that we're in. So we tell them exactly what we do, that we build it out in their Facebook accounts, the action we're trying to get to take users to fill out a lead form. And then we tell them that we're going to vet, qualify, and schedule the lead for you as an estimate. The key thing here is that we ask them again, right? So you can see there's 3 questions in this script, right? We ask them, is that something you think would help your business? Each before I go on to that question, like I said, that's why right here you're going to get 70% of the appointments that you do set are going to be set right here at this line. It's going to be pretty rare where you say this and they don't say yes and you end up setting them, if that makes sense. So if they're going to be set, they're going to be set right here. And that's why this script is really powerful and it's really duplicatable. Like you can train other people this and it will work really easily. It's not a difficult script to operate or use. It's not super tonality heavy. Like there is some key tonality in here. But honestly, like depending on the industry that you're in, I really think you could take this exact script and duplicate it and create appointments through it. Like I said, for us, I have 2 cold callers on staff right now, and they're generating 3 to 5 per day per setter. But like I said, there's swings, you know how it is. There's days where they're setting more, there's days where they're setting less. If I run this script and I call for a full day, I can set 10 appointments in a day if I'm just cold calling for the entire day. It works. It really does work pretty well. And that's really it. So that's like the full meat and potatoes of the actual script. From there, you understand that there's going to be sometimes there will be objection handling and stuff like that. But as far as picking up a phone and what to say to somebody, to be able to schedule them for a call or where to get more information from them, that's the bulk of what you need to know right there. So thanks for watching. Talk soon.